Hey everybody, we are gonna get started here pretty soon. Please like the live stream and share the live stream. We got some interesting topics tonight. Oh yes, and the shirt design that you see before you is available now on mindfulmonad.com. That is mindfulmonad.com. Just go there and scroll down to the merch portion of the website and you can find this design. This is the purple monad triscale. Okay. I hope you all are ready. It's Friday. Get ready. Let's get ready for Friday Night Chat. We're gonna talk about Britney Spears and Elon Musk. And does your pet, cat, or dog have a dream? We don't know right now, but we'll find out. Dang, I'm good at this. That's my chair, squeaking. I'm not farting. Okay. Let's get some purple demon faces in the chat room. Oh, trust me. If I was actually gassy, you would all smell it through the screen. My farts are that deadly. Ooh. Oh, it looks red on screen. That's cool. Red or purple demon faces. The smiley demon face. I love it. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Alright, and 3, and 2, and 1, and... Hello, everybody! Welcome to Friday Night Chat. This is Monday Monad. Oh, wait, Monday Monad. Mindful Monad, where we are observing people in the spotlight and doing some reaction to it. So, I want to play my intro real fast just because I made it and I haven't been using it lately because it's made for like videos, but really we're live streaming, but I feel like I could still utilize it. So without further ado, my name is Jan Erickson and this is my YouTube channel, Mindful Monad. Let's see, let's pause this and look at this. Okay, wasn't that great? All right, now we're done with that. Back to the music. So, hello everybody. It's so good to see you. So much has been happening this week, and there's been a lot of things I've been wanting to touch base on. I might get to the point where I may start doing an early Wednesday live stream for a couple of hours, like more at noon, but we'll see where that goes. But I'm so happy to have you guys here with me tonight. Let's say hello in the chat room. I'm excited to get on to today's topics. I'm going to touch base with Britney Spears because, frankly, I've been fairly impressed with the shadow work she's been doing. Unintentionally, of course. It's not like she's actually Hyperion and consciously doing shadow work, but she is, in a way, doing profound shadow work, and I'm just like in awe at the turnaround. And I want to just talk about Elon Musk for a minute because he's ridiculous, and it's just good to touch base with how ridiculous rich elite people are and how they are not anybody to idolize or want to be like. And lastly, for some reason, I just got hooked on an article talking about like animals dreaming, and I thought that was very interesting because at some point, all of us monads are lesser evolved than we are now, and animals are lesser evolved, but lesser evolved does not mean less important or less valued, and so I just want to talk about that in a minute and just kind of contemplate animal awareness, sentience, consciousness, just because I enjoy animals and I know we all have pets. So, but before we discuss all that, let's say hello and let's talk about snacks. I've already eaten my snacks. I've already eaten my shadow treats. Actually, no. I still have my shadow drink. I'm drinking Sapporo's today. My treat earlier was more zucchini muffins that I made earlier from my previous giant zucchini that I had. They actually freeze well. That's why I was able to keep them all week. So I unfreeze them and I had them with some like dark sea salt chocolate, and now I'm full of muffins. I'm like, why did I do all that like exercising and work all through the week just to like sabotage it all with zucchini muffins? There's a vegetable in there, so surely it means it's healthy, right? Anyways, hello Joanna, good to see you. JS Clay, thank you so much for coming. It's good to see you. Mistress Angelica, Good to see you. Let me scroll up. I know we have some moderators in the house. We have Christina and Susan. Thank you so much for coming and moderating. And I see Morg is here. Thank you so much for popping in. Starry Nebula, Lisa, thank you so much for coming. And let's see. Thank you, Eva Blue Rose, for getting a shirt. That means a lot. And thank you, Nikki, for the subscription. Thank you, Maria, who also got a shirt. And thank you, Downtown Stalker, who has subscribed. Thank you, thank you. Always appreciated. Love it when people like and share. Laura LaFleur, hello. Cassie, good to see you, my friend. Cassidy, good to see you. Tyler Ease, Imaginista, She-Wolf. And Christina's having red beeps, which is grapes. Yeah, so we do have a new shirt design. I hope you like it. It's like the purple monad, like tri-scale looking thing. Let's see. If we could pop that in there. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that awesome? So if you would like to have this shirt, just go to mindfulmonad.com and go to the merch section. All you have to do is scroll down. So let's just wait a little bit for people to come in. We're just still chilling. Friday night is pretty chill. I love to check in on Britney Spears every once in a while because, like, the very first concept of Mindful Monad, the very first episode or posting I ever did was about Britney Spears, and this was before, like, the whole ordeal where she went through all that court procedure to get freed from her conservatorship. And my first episode was back when there was a lot of speculation as to if she was trapped and she needed help. And lo and behold, it all turned out to be true. So now I like to check in on Britney Spears because not only is she free now, I noticed that she's been very expressive on her, shadow parts, the parts that of herself that she was not able to express before, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm all here for it. So I just wanted to touch base with that. But before we get into that, we shall hang out just a little bit. We need more snacks. What kind of snacks, what kind of food do you have going on tonight? What kind of drinks, consumables? Mistress Angelica says, I forgot what the tricycle symbolizes. The tricycle can actually have, like, a variation of meanings and symbology. Like, first and foremost, you, like, look at it, it's a circle with a dot in the middle. That's more or less, like, the symbol of a monad. It's got a sort of motion, like, look to it, like it's in motion. Uh, as Hyperians, we're constantly evolving and, moving. There's like three sections to it, which can like represent the shadow self, the power self, and the mirror self. and just the overall idea that we are neither, like, we're not like a dichotomy. We're not just like one thing or another. It's not like absolute like that. Like, there is a there's synthesization to things, and we can integrate things and come out in the middle. So there's like a lot of different things that can go along with it, which is why I think the triskill is so great, because you can use it and point to it for so many different lessons within Hyperianism. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, yes. Oh my gosh, so I just realized like the chat's like totally blank right now. Hold on. Papa chat. Usually I'm good like putting this in. I just realized like on screen the chat is not going. What's up with that? We missed all this great stuff. There we go. There it is. We're here today, folks. So, let's I want to check out what Britney Spears is doing. You know what? It's so interesting. There's like this whole exchange of just like projection and like shadow stuff that has played between me and Britney Spears. And I don't mean personally, like actually, like there's something personally going on between me and Britney Spears. I mean just like the psychological representation of such. And what I mean by that is like when Britney Spears was really iconic back in her prime, I was old enough to start to be in the generation that was getting into pop music such as that. It was like Britney Spears. It was the dawning of like NSYNC and like Backstreet Boys and all of that stuff. And for me, I was somebody who was very sort of, I guess, offended by Britney Spears at the time when I was young. It was like she was the pop star, she was spoon fed, she was rich elite, she couldn't possibly know what it was like to suffer or anything like that. I was very prejudiced. I'm like, Britney Spears, like, fuck that popular blonde ass bitch. Just very prejudiced. I had my own biases against pop music, pop stars in general, while secretly enjoying the music. I can finally be mature enough now to admit that. At the time I'd be like, I don't like this is crappy, I don't like it at all, but then like secretly listen to the music, and but then like make sure to tell everybody that I fucking hate it. um yeah, CJS Clay says Britney used to be like the archetype of like the popular blonde cheerleader, the popular blonde cheerleader. And if you've gone to public school, if you've gone to public school, things get boxed up and categorized into cliques real fucking fast. You find out very fast who are the rich kids, who are the poor kids, who are the weirdos, who are the ones that are idolized and popular, and who is like being shunned and shamed away into a box. Guess what group I fit into? The weirdos, essentially. So for there to be like Britney Spears, it was like That was the symbolism. That was like uh, the thesis. I was the antithesis, and here I am as the synthesization. Um, Eva Blue Rose says, I was pretty much obsessed with Justin Timberlake. Yeah, I actually like Justin Timberlake, but never mind that. It's like I was very much associated into a group and associated myself in such a way that was very much alternative. And to like pop music or Britney Spears or anything like that was very frowned upon, and I kept it secret and hidden. Very much like I did when I was younger before that, when I said I didn't like Barney and Barney was stupid and dumb and totally not cool, but I totally loved Barney, and I would go to school and I'd be like, Barney's dumb. And then I'd go home and hug my Barney, like, stuffed animal and be like, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. That sort of thing. So, when I started having an interest in Britney Spears was the iconic 2007 breakdown where she shaved her head and busted a car window in with her umbrella, and then she went under her conservatorship, and we'd never heard from her again. Suddenly, a couple of years ago, she starts popping off on Instagram and is like making these weird posts that's like they're normal Instagram posts, but there's the way she's going about it where she really seemed like she was in distress. It was weird. It was it was like how somebody behaves when they're being secretly held hostage, but they can't say that, but they have to like they're being forced to perform and stuff. So it had that feel, and a lot of people were like, "Well, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?" And even so far as where somebody is like, "Hey, Brittany, if you're in trouble and you can't talk about it, like, wear a yellow shirt in your next post or something yellow in your next post." And sure a fucking enough, she wore something yellow in her next post. And at the time, people were still scratching their heads like, is she really doing that? Or is this speculation? Like, are we making this up? Or is this really happening? It was really happening. Like, she really was in distress. She was very unhappy in her conservatorship. And if you don't know what a conservatorship, it's something that is only implemented under extreme cases where, like, an adult, fully grown adult, is incapable of caring for themselves, and all of their rights are signed away to somebody else, like a caretaker, to take care of them. They're essentially an adult dependent child. And it's hard to get out of that, and for Britney especially, because she was being held captive and hostage and against her will through most of that conservatorship. Is really disturbing. So the very first episode of and concept of mindful monad has evolved. In the beginning, it was Monday morning monad, and then it changed to Monday monad, and then recently I'm like, I don't need Monday. Let's just be mindful monad. One thing that has always been consistent is the monad part. So, but it was like Monday morning monad. The very first episode I ever made of that concept was about Britney Spears. And I'm like, I'm trying to apply some reason to this, because that was like balls deep into the pandemic, and I was losing my mind with all the crazy hysteric like news going around and things like that. So I think starting this channel and everything like that sprouted from like just wanting to reason through world events and what was going on in the world, and that's what's still sticking today. That's pretty much what it's about now, still, is reasoning through the world, but still like through a sort of Hyperion eye, because I'm so focused on self-actualization and shadow work and things like that. So it was a lot of shadow work for me personally to come to the acceptance that, you know what, I actually like Britney Spears. In 2007, she went through her iconic breakdown. And that's when I'm like, hey, this is really interesting because she's showing that she's sick of like rich elite bullcrap and the status quo and what is expected from her. And she's trying to break through that and scream out of that. That's what interested in me in her, and that's when I became open to listening to her music. So flash forward till now. um I'm feeling like on the other side of the fence, where I'm watching Britney Spears explore her shadow, and it's just like I'm taking such delight in it. I'm so happy about it, like 100%. Let me pull up. Let's just like glance at her Instagram. It's so funny. Some people are making jokes like she's essentially um doing like OnlyFans only like on her Instagram. Like I don't even give a shit. Like I don't really see it as sexual. I see it as like freeing, but like she's been posting some like scantily clad things on Instagram. But she's like posting more on Instagram. There we go. Britney Spears, baby. I feel like, wait, how old is she? How old is Britney? I feel like she's like, we're the same fucking age. No, she's a little bit older. Britney Spears' age. She's 40 years old. No way. Well, she looks fucking fabulous for a 40-year-old. I mean, I'm 35, so yeah, she's like 5 years older, which would make sense because if I was like in grade school and she was just popping off as like a teen. But I mean, some of the things she posts, like in regards to like her philosophy of life, is very weird. Like some of it's religious, some of it like really condones like a higher power. But like, I'm not trying to sit here and like hold Britney to being like Hyperion. I'm just like so thrilled with the fact that she's not in a conservatorship. She's not literally being told what she can eat, when she can eat, like what she can wear, when she can wear it, like what she can post, when she can post it. Literally down to like pretty much when she could take a fucking shit. Like that sucks. Like I'm so glad she's out of that and like having whoever, like she literally didn't even have like reproductive rights. Like she had a birth control implant in her and she wasn't allowed to have it removed even though she wanted like more children. I love this. Yeah, like this looks like a lovely free person who's like exploring their shadow and not being held literally captive. It's so sad. Yeah, see, this is. She gets like really scantily clad, as in like she's literally just wearing emojis. Now, with shadow work, it's not like necessarily you just go crazy, like you go cray cray. You start doing like a bunch of drugs, drinking, booze, like all of that. Like honestly, for some people, doing shadow work could mean that you're exercising some conservation. You're being conservative. The whole point is that she's exploring things that she was not able to do previously that don't hurt anyone. Um, and it's good for her health. Like she's actualizing, she's self-actualizing. She was somebody who was held captive and now she's exploring her freedom And she's doing so in such a way that's healthy. Oh, I love this. Okay, so this is one of my favorite things is that she posted this clip from an early Batman movie for like with Michelle Pfeiffer as like Catwoman. And I love this scene so much. It's such a pinnacle of like pissed off hell hath no fury like a woman scorn. That is like one of the most powerful fucking forces of energy in this fucking universe is like a woman scorn. So I love this scene from Batman with Michelle Pfeiffer. And this is like after she returned to her apartment after she was like literally murdered by rich elite. And she's like destroying her house and she's going nuts and she's like crafting her outfit and her persona together to kick ass. And the fact that Britney Spears like posted this and was like identifying with this, I thought that was so perfect. And I this is what initially prompted me to talk about Britney Spears again and visit Britney Spears again in shadow expression because I'm like, "Oh my god, I did this once. I've had these moments before." And I love it. So let's see. Britney Spears posted this scene, and you should look it up on YouTube. Like, I don't want to play the sound to it now and get like copyright like stuff, but it's really a beautiful scene of Michelle Pfeiffer's character like turning into Catwoman. So, Britney says, "I feel like she's the most charming, sexy, and alluring woman. This scene is probably the hottest scene I've ever seen in my life." Yeah, of course it is because it's her being able to take ownership of her anger and stuff and like turn it around and make something of it, and then she ends up kicking ass, in the movie and killing those people. I'm not saying you should become a villainous like vigilante and like literally kill people, but it's just the idea and the concept of the archetype of honing in your angry, pissed off womanhood and doing something really amazing and constructive with it. She says, let's see. Michelle Pfeiffer, whom I've never met, is the character. She is sick in this movie in the most conventional way possible. The disaster she exposes before the gates of hell are revealed in anticipation and biting down at it its best. She gives hell a whole new meaning. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I respect that. There's been a whole lot of a whole lot of remakes since then. Well, damn, tons. But honestly, I don't think anyone can come even close to this scene alone. Yeah, this scene really is iconic. I know she has no idea who I am, but I just want to let her know. A silly girl from the South. See, that's how she sees herself. A silly girl from the South. Like, she doesn't even take herself seriously, but she obviously identifies with this in such a way where I feel like this is within her a little bit. The God-fearing, or not God-fearing, the God should be fearing the woman in this instance. I think I said that once in my lifetime where it's like, I'm not a God-fearing woman, but I am a woman that God fears. I'm not a woman, I'm non-binary, but at the time, that sounded like really fucking cool. So, yeah, see, I love this. Don't know anything about chess, but I do know the queen can go anywhere she wants. You see the shadow poking out of Britney? I love it. It's so interesting. It's almost like art. I don't know if she's planning on making any new music, but I kind of hope she does because that would be freaking fantastic. Love you, Britney. Britney for life, seriously. Britney is like my shadow here. It's so funny. It turned out from thinking like Britney is just fucking lollipop, like blonde bitch that doesn't know anything, to like my fucking shadow queen. Like, mwah. 40 years old. God damn, I can't wait till I get 40 now. Let's see. What's going on in the chat? Yeah, she does look great for 40. Holy shit. Rebirth. Yeah, it's really important to have a healthy outlet for anger. Feeling angry, and even so far as to feel a little bit violent, is okay. It's what you do with it that counts. The way I like to express my anger and vitriol is through physical fitness, working out, kickboxing, punching things, going for a run, anything that doesn't involve hurting somebody else or taking advantage of somebody else. This is shadow work. This is a healthy thing to do. Always expressing parts of yourselves that people would frown upon, like, oh, you shouldn't feel anger. Like, a lot of religious, like mainstream religious nonsense does that, where it's like, you shouldn't feel angry or you shouldn't do this or that. It's not very Christ-like. Well, I don't give a shit what Christ is doing, for Christ's sake. I'm doing my own thing and I'm fucking pissed and I'm gonna punch the air and I'm gonna go for a run, or I'm gonna make an angry song, or I'm gonna scream into a pillow, or something that is not going to hurt somebody. Because if you swallow that stuff down and you constantly keep it in, like, you're gonna turn into an asshole. Which is a good segue here into Elon Musk. We're just gonna catch up with Elon Musk and what he's been doing, like, recently. Elon Musk is a good example of, like, somebody, like, if you don't do your shadow work and then you just start integrating your power self, you're going to turn into a dick. You're going to turn into somebody that uses other people and steps on other people and chews people up and spits them out for no reason. And you can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. It's not reasonable in any sense. Shadow work is absolutely important. Hey, everybody. Josh the Canadian, hello. Jerome, have I said hello to you? Hello. See, I like fitness. I don't know. Because look, this is a war of the mind in the world right now. This is a war of thoughts, feelings, and ideas. You gotta learn to exercise some emotional intelligence and learn what to do with your emotions at the right time in the right place. Okay, you're not going to save the whole world on a Wednesday evening. Go for a run. Punch your pillow a bit. Go for a run. Do something. Like, don't start being a dick for no reason. Don't start using people and pushing people beyond their scope, okay? People is like, there's people in this holos. We're all trying to have a mental revolution. You can't have a revolution without people, so it makes no sense to take everything out on people. Now, there's a lot of stupid people in power right now, and we absolutely need to take them out. But take them out doesn't necessarily mean, like, a fucking, like, war or something. Like, literal, like, torches war. Like, look what happened at January 6th. January 6th. What happened? Yeah, people stormed the Capitol, and that didn't go so well. So, this is a mental revolution, and it's so important to own your side of this mental revolution. You got to do the shadow work within you so that you don't get emotionally triggered and end up sabotaging your progress in the long run. Britney Spears is doing a great job with her shadow work. Elon Musk, not so much. Let's check it out. I guess Elon Musk has like 8 kids. He's like personally trying to repopulate the whole holos himself, like trying to make avatars. I really wish he wouldn't. And not even that. I don't even think he has 8 kids at this point because I'm pretty sure one of them like disowned his ass. Like literally was like, I don't want anything to do with you. Please go away. I don't know you. I don't nothing. Just no. Elon Musk is trying to be the new Genghis Khan. No. Elon Musk is the new clown. No, I haven't changed anything yet. Sorry, Susan. I'm getting my link. We still see Britney. Why? Because Britney is fabulous. So, I mean, there's so many different things you could bring up about Elon Musk, and frankly, this won't be the first time we cover him. A lot of the people that we've been covering in our live streams recently is like a setup. Like, I'm introducing you so that when we go back and visit these people and get up to date on what they're doing, we already have a background to them. We focused heavily on Andrew Tate recently. Andrew Tate is still, like, one of the top leading, like, uh, viral people right now on social media, like almost more, pretty much more than the Kardashians at this point. Like Andrew Tate is hella popular, and it's so concerning because he's such a nut job, and he is purposely selling stupidity. Now, with Andrew Tate, after what, like, I am becoming an Andrew Tate expert. 100%. Elon Musk, I'm starting to work on. Jordan Peterson, too. And soon, maybe next week, we will get into Ben Shapiro, which is a good one. Good as in, like, horrible. So, but anyways, Elon Musk is just constantly outing himself as a clown. And is so silly. This man is so silly. He's not intelligent, and that's one thing. Like, if you want to like say so, like, I love this person because they're rich, like, fine, get to the point, but don't ever fall for any idea that Elon Musk is, one, a hard worker, or two, intelligent, because he is neither of those things at all at any point. um So recently, I think he was busted in for being a homewrecker. In like he actually had an affair with, what is it, the CEO of Google's wife? Uh, had a kid with her. Didn't that happen? Like Elon Musk affair with his stepdaughter. Oh my God, no! Stop it. Oh, so Google co-founder Elon Musk had a relationship with the Google co-founder's wife. But Elon Musk denies it and says that they're still friends. Elon Musk denies affair with Google co-founder Sergey Brin's wife. Wife of Google co-founder. Mr. Musk's comments came after the Wall Street Journal reported that his friendship with Mr. Brin had ended over alleged affair. Replying to a link to a story posted by Twitter, Mr. Musk referred to the report as total BS. But the strange thing is the friend never actually came out to defend him. So if it's total BS, then why isn't it total BS across the board? But that's neither important right now. So going back to just like showing an example of how Elon Musk is absolutely fucking stupid, which you don't really need to know. We're just keeping up to date with things. Um, let's go next. Let me pause the music because I want to listen to this. So it's just so funny because Elon Musk is known for doing like these tremendous things, like putting rockets into space and like having all these innovative ideas, like with his Tesla tunnel and stuff like that. But what few people seem to recognize is just how full of baloney all of that is, and how much he actually just doesn't know, and how much of like a bad businessman he really is. But yet he's so idolized and worshipped and put on a pedestal and just like see like this is the way to be. This is like what's cool and this is what's awesome and this is what everybody should be doing. I hate that. I'm a total Elon Musk hater. 100%. I'm also hating my hair today. What the hell?
You may know him as the guy who is exposing every celebrity elite for putting flights on the map.
Let's start it over.
Today we're here with Jack Sweeney. You may know him as the guy who is exposing every celebrity elite for putting flights on the map, giving us an inside scoop into a world we probably haven't seen before. Where are these people going? How often? How short? How long these flights are? Thanks for being here, Jack.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I want to start off with where this idea comes from, because to the normal person, I don't think this is a normal thing to have for a hobby.
No, it's definitely like not normal. Yes.
You know, my some of my family works in the aviation world, and I knew about all that. And then during COVID, I was bored and fan of Elon Musk, and I thought I'd track him and put it on Twitter, and it just blew up.
Speaking of Elon Musk, just to get right into it, he obviously DM'd you about this account that you have. Do you want to?
Yep, it's TMZ Verified, the podcast. I'm Wild.
I'm Steph.
And I'm
Yeah.
Chantal.
Today we're here to take us through that, exactly what happened.
Yeah, so last December, I just get a DM, and it's Elon Musk. You know, he said, "You take this down. It's a security risk." And he was essentially asking how it worked because he did not seem to have any knowledge on how plane tracking worked. And after a while, he was like, "How about $5,000 to take it down?" And I was like, "No, you know, you got to do something more than that." You know, it's funny because multiple people have been like, you know, this guy is like the #1 billionaire, and he's this guy who can put rockets in space.
So I know it seems kind of confusing, but like if you haven't caught up already, like this kid made a Twitter account, or is it like an Instagram account. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But he made a social media account as a fan of Elon Musk, and then like sort of retweeted or posted something, and then Elon Musk like actually contacted it. Is like, no, I really can't like have this out there. I don't know what exactly, but it frankly doesn't matter because overall Elon Musk is offering this kid $5,000 to buy his account, which is like, it's like me taking a penny I find in the gutter and throwing it at a homeless person. That's what that equates to. I'm seeing like some things in the chat. Yeah, Evil Blue Rose says he was tracking his private jet. So the kid posted some information about Elon Musk, like a private jet, and Elon Musk wanted it taken down. But the lowballing is so funny, and also it's not exactly exclusive information. Even if you have a private jet, it's not exclusive information. That's what's so funny. So anyways, moving on.
Take us through that, exactly what happened.
Yeah, so 1,000 or a Tesla.
That's still kind of low, though.
Take us through that, exactly what happened.
Yeah, so last December, I I just get a DM and it's Elon Musk. You know, he said, "You take this down. It's a security risk." And he's essentially asking how it worked because he did not seem to have any knowledge on how plane tracking worked. And after a while, he was like, "How about $5,000 to take it down?" And I was like, "No, you know, you got to do something more than that." You know,
Dude,
it's
I'd be
funny
like 5
because
million at least.
people have been like, you know, this guy is like the #1 billionaire, and he's this guy who can put rockets in space, make cars drive
5,000.
themselves.
No.
But here he is
5 million.
asking a kid to stop tracking his plane.
And only for
You know.
$5,000, which is not enough, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like, dude.
Yeah.
And he didn't like have a bigger offer than that. He was like 5,000 or nothing.
No, I countered him, and then he said he was thinking about it.
Wait, what was your counter?
50,000.
Take us through that.
50,000?
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
1,000 or a Tesla.
That's still kind of low, though. Like, bruh.
Yeah, that
For
is still
Elon Musk,
low.
that is low.
That
I'd be
is still
surprised
low.
if he didn't,
5
like, If
million.
you really wanted the account down,
5
I'd be like,
million
it's
at
a Tesla.
least.
Yeah.
So if he basically gave you the Tesla and the 50,000, would you delete it right away? Because basically he doesn't want his info on there.
No,
You know, the
come
funny
on.
thing is, he didn't
5
say,
million.
you know, everybody's like, delete it. But the funny thing is, he said, he didn't say delete it. He said he wanted the account.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
weird.
he wanted
That's
it
a
himself.
Oh,
That's
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
That's sus.
Ah.
That's interesting.
Why
So
do you
ba-
think he wanted the account, though? Like, what was he going to do with it?
I don't know. You never know.
I don't
1,000
know.
or a Tesla.
That's still kind of low, though. Like, bruh.
I feel like
Yeah.
for Elon Musk, that is low.
Yeah,
I would.
alright, anyways. So, yeah, there you have it. Elon Musk being really fucking smart there. Also, I just gotta say, what is this? Teddy Fresh. There's this shirt. I really want this shirt. Where is it? Does Teddy Fresh still have this shirt? I really want this shirt right here. Can somebody please get me this shirt? I'm serious. I want this shirt so bad. It's on teddyfresh.com. I love it. And it's Elon Musk is a piece of shit. And it's a draw. Obviously, you can see it. It's a drawing of Elon Musk with like double horns and like a towel and all that stuff. Like, I really want this shirt. Please, somebody help.
1,000 or a Tesla.
We might start getting into like shirts like that. I don't know. Something. We'll start designing some shit here soon. Elon Musk is such a weird individual because how old is he? And I don't mean to be ageist. I'm not trying to be ageist. But this man is 51 years old. And he acts like a child. And I don't mean like a nice, bright, brilliant child. I mean, he acts like a jackass. It's so weird how he behaves. And it's just so glorified. And he's glorified by young men. Yeah, 100% young men. It's like Elon Musk and Andrew Tate. These are like people that inspire young men. It's like, yeah, you're a role model for like teenage boys. Which teenage boys, I'm not saying aren't important, but that's not anything to really pat yourself on the back for. 51 years old and you're like worried about buying Twitter and buying people's accounts and things like that and don't even know how plane tracking works. Yeah, Eva Blue Rose says, I find it funny and sad that people actually look up to this man and think he's one of the smartest people in the world. He's not. He's really not. He's good at exploiting engineers and architects and things like that, and exploiting other people's education and knowledge. He's good at that. He's good at buying other people, but he doesn't actually contribute anything himself at all. All of his ideas are dumb, and he doesn't actually contribute anything good to humanity. In fact, his contribution to humanity, to humanitarian issues especially, is vile and like extremely questionable. I think a really good detailed thing to watch is let's see. You know what YouTuber I really like who's really good at like opening up businesses is Illuminati, and I mean like Illuminati, like the word naughty. So there's this YouTuber,
PETA. What can I say?
Illuminati, and she did cover Elon Musk, and particularly Elon Musk's business practices. And she's just so fantastic at putting this information together and presenting it and making you understand like what businesses are doing behind the scene that you wouldn't normally be aware of. Where is the video? Illuminati, Elon Musk. There we go.
Hello and welcome.
So maybe we will watch this for just like patron members. Maybe we'll go over this with just patron members. And react to this video together. Let me know if you want to do that. But yeah, otherwise, go ahead, check out this video for yourself. Perhaps we will do it for patron members only. We'll get together and watch stuff like this and react to it and like educate ourselves about it. Because I'm totally down with doing a Saturday live stream if people are into like a private patron only live stream where we kind of get into more detail about this sort of stuff. But yeah, Illuminati is a really good YouTuber. I highly recommend her to you. And watching this about Elon Musk really, because at face value, at public value, Elon Musk is like, oh, they're the good humanitarian rich person. And here's the thing about that logic. Anybody who's a crazy rich elitist, like multi-billionaire at all, is not good for humanity. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a certain point financially where it's like you're rich enough, and then it gets beyond your own hard work as an individual to where you're exploiting the work of other individuals for your own benefit, and you're benefiting off hard labor of other people. Your money isn't working for you. Your money doesn't work. Other people are working for you, and you're exploiting them. And that's where this goes. It's like, well, there's good billionaires. Like, no, there really isn't, though. When you start benefiting off other people's hard work and hard labor, it's beyond it's beyond like self-actualization and just like hard work for your own individual effort. Now, people can get together and work on a project together and be mutual in that. But if one individual is benefiting off of the hard labor of multiple people, then we got some problems there. And not only that, Elon Musk has some serious questionable like personality like issues. Now, as a Hyperion, I don't like to get too much into morality. I mean, what might seem like asshole behavior to me could be normal for somebody else, but it only goes so far to where you're actually harming other people. You can be an asshole, fine, but when you're like taking advantage of other people and you're ruining other people's lives, that's archonic and that's bullshit. So, yes,
Welcome to the corporate
Illuminati
casket.
is good. If we want to, let me know. I would be glad to live stream tomorrow if we want to like go over this tomorrow for patrons only. Let me do a poll. All right, so there's the poll for that. So, moving right along. Let me turn the music back on. So the last thing, if you want an extension into Elon Musk, let's do that tomorrow. Vote for that if you like. But for the rest of the evening, I kind of started thinking about animals and where animals fit in Hyperianism. Now, if you have a pet or a favorite animal, now's the time to let me know in chat what you would like. Like, do you have a pet? Do you have a cat? Do you have a dog? Or if you don't have a pet, like, what's your favorite animal? Christina says Luna. Christina has Luna, the materialist cat. I love Luna. Luna is so cute. Lisa has a dog named Shadow. Laura likes either horses or cougars. Alright, there you go. Sorry, the music was loud. So we got a dog named Shadow. Laura likes horses and cougars. Luna is fantastic. I love Luna. Luna is iconic. We got... Oh, we have somebody with a cat named Shadow. Okay, who has pets named Shadow? How many Hyperions here have pets? Oh yeah, Cassie has Nyx and Siren as her. She's got two sibling black cats. I have a pet rattlesnake and I have a dog friend. Susan has 3 cats. Joanna has a black cat named Ember. R1 has a dog named Lakota. The pet rattlesnake I have is actually featured on many Hyperion triscales. If you see the Hyperion triscale and it's got a rattlesnake on it, or like a pair of rattlesnakes, like mirrored rattlesnakes, that's actually my pet. Her name is Donut. I obviously can't show her because she's not a handleable animal. And I have a dog friend that I walk and I run with every day, and his name is Chunk. He's a Turkish Shepherd. So, the interesting thing about animals is that they are a monad like we are. How I'm a monad, you're a monad. Animals are monads. They're sentient, they have experiences. Humans don't always understand fully their way of perceiving the world in some cases. However, it is for certain that within animals, within that avatar is a monad. Now, when we talk about evolving in Hyperianism, it is possible. It is what is the point of life, is to constantly evolve each lifetime we experience. And animal avatars, like animals, they are less evolved than humans are. They're monads, they're indestructible, they're forever. They will always be on a path of evolution. But they're not at the same level as we are. They don't have the capability to communicate the abstract experiences they have like we are. Their brains are built with only so much capacity. You see what I'm saying? Oh, is that Philip? Philip! Hey, Philip. How's it going? Good to see you. We're just getting into a conversation about animals. So animals are, yes, they're lesser evolved than us. But when you say the phrase less evolved, it seems to have a very negative connotation to it. It seems to make it sound like they're not worth anything, when that's far from it. In fact, I feel like there's even more of a duty to protect animals because they're less evolved, because they don't have as much capability to have as much influence in the holos like we humans do. We have more developed brains that are able to hold a larger capacity of hold a monad that's got a broader capacity for interacting with the world. I'm learning how to describe this as I go along. Bear with me. So animals are not necessarily less important. Certainly not. They're not, they don't have any less value in this world because every animal in the holos, on this planet, has a function and a purpose and a reason for being there. They're not just there for no reason. Animals are necessary for balancing the ecosystem of the earth. We need animals, we need bugs, we need critters, we need things. We can't just have like a stale concrete planet with just people only and like no plants or no anything. Like we wouldn't even have an atmosphere. So absolutely 100%, I feel like as higher evolved monads, it is our duty to have interest in this world, in this planet, in lesser evolved monads and what they're doing, and have interest in their well-being. Climate change is a big issue. We're losing species of animals due to climate change. We're losing species of animals and plants due to our irrational, or not really irrational, ignorant interaction with the world. We are ignorantly interacting with the world in such a way that is having devastating consequences. This is very concerning. So, this is why some Hyperians get into veganism. Now, veganism by itself sometimes can take the narrative too far and say that animals are more important than people. That's not the case. Hyperians that are into veganism recognize that there's some unnecessary utilization of animals for day-to-day needs, and it's not necessary. It's like unnecessary suffering. I'm all for that. I personally am not vegan. I've definitely dabbled in eating vegan, and I do so as much as possible, but ultimately it wrecks my stomach, and I don't have time to explain that to you, and nobody is my nutritionist, but a lot of Hyperians do dabble in veganism, and they enjoy that, and if you can do it, do it. Definitely. Do the best you can, I say. But on the topic of animals, it's like, geez, where do animals stand in Hyperianism? Well, they're very important. We love animals. There's plenty of Hyperion creators here. I'm very partial to animals. Other Hyperion creators have pets and animals, and we love them. For fuck's sakes. Just earlier this week, no joke, I captured a seagull. I literally grabbed a seagull with my bare hands. It was a young seagull, so it wasn't quite an adult. It was kind of a baby, but just a little bit above baby. But I grabbed a seagull with my bare fucking hands just to prevent it from getting run over, because it had a bad wing, and the wing was like fucked up. And it couldn't tuck it in all the way, and it couldn't fly away, and it was gonna get ran over, and it was in the middle of the street. So I grabbed the stupid seagull, and it was like dirty and screeching, and it was like pecking at me. It was like pecking at me. Like I actually have like a little scab here from it biting my arm. And I dealt with it. It was really interesting. I searched up a number on my phone to try and find out like what to do with it. Animal control was no help. Okay. But then I was able to find a wildlife rehabilitation center, but they were a drive like quite a ways away. Not like a super far ways away, but it was like a good 30-minute drive away. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of work. I can't drive away. So you know what I did? I put the seagull in a storage container and I brought the seagull home into my house and I put it into my bedroom and I slept with the seagull in my room in a container all night. And you know what I did? I put on because when you're stuck in that situation, because by the way, I did get a hold of the wildlife center and they're like, unless you can drive the seagull to us, we don't know what to do because we don't have anybody to send out there. So it's like I couldn't drive there, so I'm like, I can drive there the next day. So the seagull's coming home and sleeping over. So the thing with wildlife is you put them in a box or whatever and you don't interact with them. Okay, they're wildlife. The less interaction, the better. So I have this seagull in a box in my room and I'm sleeping with it. And I'm like, I feel bad for it. I can't really interact with it. It doesn't want comfort. So you know what I did? I went on YouTube on my phone and I put on like a 12-hour like sea wave, like ocean wave ambience, just so like it could hear ocean like waves all through the night. Because, you know, that would be familiar to a seagull, hearing ocean waves all night. So, and the next morning I woke up and I took the container, I put it in my car, and I drove it to the wildlife center, and they were very grateful. I actually have not heard an update yet. I'm going to try and call them tomorrow. I don't know if, like, the seagull is okay, if his wing is okay, if he's, can be rehabilitated, or if it's like, nope, sorry, we just put him to sleep. Either way, I want to know. So anyway, so I love animals. I've always loved animals. I'm not ashamed of loving animals. They deserve our care and our respect. And if you're somebody who gets a jolly off hurting or harming animals, you're broken and you're weird and you should be put away. So, anyways. Thank you so much, She-Wolf, for purchasing a shirt. I need to label the shirts better. And please, if you can donate tips, things like that, purchase a shirt, it all helps. Like, I do need the help. Absolutely, 100%. Thank you. And if you can't donate, sharing and encouraging other people to watch the show and like and subscribe, things like that, that really helps. And the way to donate or purchase merchandise is through mindfulmonad.com. Please subscribe if you can. Where is my loppy? There we go. There we go. Subscribe. So, how animals perceive the world. Every creature within its own sensory bubble, but only, sorry, I read it wrong. I hate that. Every creature lives within its own sensory bubble, but only humans have the capacity to appreciate the experiences of other species. Oh, that's so crazy. Isn't that crazy? I've never thought of that before till now. Humans, yes, it's true. As higher evolved beings, like a higher evolved like monads, we do have the capacity to conceptualize experiences of other species. That's so fucking wild. Yeah, of course that would be reason. Yeah. What we've learned is astounding. Look at that hooter. It's a nice hooter. So this article was featured in One Story to Read Today, a newsletter in which our editors recommend a single must-read from The Atlantic, Monday through Friday. Sign up here. Within the 300,000 acres, over 300,000 acres of Wyoming's Grand Teton National Park, one of the largest parking lots in the village of Coulter Bear. Beyond the lot's far edge, nestled among some trees, is a foul-smelling sewage pumping station that Jesse Barber, a sensory ecologist at Boise State University, calls the shitterator. The shitterator. On this particular night, sitting quietly within a crevice beneath the building's metal awning and illuminated by Barber's flashlight, is a little brown bat. So they're looking at a bat. A white device the size of a rice grain is attached to the bat's back. So they put a little sensor, a little device that's the size of a grain of rice. They put it on the bat's back. And it's a radio tag. So, it's the radio tag, Barber tells me. He'd previously fixated to the bat so that it could track its movements and stuff. So, they take this little sensor and they put it on the bat. How crazy would that be to be your profession in life? To be like, I'm going to capture a bat and just put this, like, tiny rice size, like, sensor to its back. Like, I want that job. My job's, like, boring. No, that's not true. My job's pretty fascinating. But, like, I would love to work with, like, wild animals like that. If I had my whole life to do over again, my profession would be within animals. So they're like inside the sewage plantation. So from inside the shitterator, I can hear the chirps of other roosting bats. As the sun sets, they start to emerge. A few become entangled in the large net Barber has strung between two trees. He frees a bat, and Hunter Cole, one of his students, carefully examines it to check that it's healthy and heavy enough to carry a tag. Once satisfied, Cole daubs a spot of surgical cement between its shoulder blades and attaches the tiny device. It's a little bit of an art project, the tagging of a bat, Barber tells me after a few minutes. Cole places the bat on the trunk of the nearest tree. It crawls upward and takes off, carrying $175 worth of radio equipment into the woods. So it's like almost $200 to put this like grain of rice size like radio thing, and they like glue it to a bat between its like the back of its shoulder blades, and then they just like send it off. I watch as the team examines another bat, which opens its mouth and exposes its surprisingly long teeth. This isn't an aggressive display. It's not an aggressive display. It only looks like one's. It only looks like one. The bat is unleashing a stream of short, ultrasonic pulses from its mouth, which are too high-pitched for me to hear. Bats, however, can hear ultrasound, and by listening for the returning echoes, they can detect and locate objects around them. So the bat's not screaming in aggression. It's sending out like echolocation signals to figure out where it's at. Echolocation is the primary means through which most bats navigate and hunt. Only 2 animal groups are known to have perfected the ability. Toothed whales, such as dolphins, orcas, and sperm whales, and bats. That's actually pretty fucking wild. The only 2, really? Only 2 animal groups are known to have perfected the ability of echolocation, and that's things underwater and bats. That's so weird, though. I find it very strange that, no more mammals would, rely on that. There's no more cave, or dark area dwelling mammals. Anyways. Echolocation differs from the human senses echolocation differs from human senses because it involves putting energy into the environment. What? Eyes scan, noses sniff, fingers press, but these sense organs are always picking up stimuli that already exist in the wider world. By contrast, an echolocating bat creates the stimulus that it later detects. Echolocation is a way of tricking your surroundings into revealing themselves. Interesting. That's actually, no, it's so weird. I've never actually thought about that before. Like, we do this direct thing where it's like, I take my fingers and I put them on my desk, and I'm already, like, picking up the stimuli that there's a desk there. I don't have to do an extra step in between that. But bats do an extra step. Bats do an extra step where they create the sound, and then they get the sound wave bouncing off objects that come back to them, and then they get a stimuli. So it's like they have an extra step. That's so weird. We don't have any extra steps. The basic process seems straightforward, but its details are extraordinary. High-pitched sounds quickly lose energy in the air, so bats must scream to make calls that are strong enough to return audible echoes. To avoid deafening themselves, bats contract the muscles in their ears in time with their calls, desensitizing their hearing with every shout and restoring it in time for the echo. Isn't that nuts? Like, they close off their ears as they scream, and they open it back up just in time to, like, hear it echo back. Each echo provides a snapshot in time, so that bats must update their calls quickly to track fast-moving insects. Unfortunately, their vocal muscles are the fastest known muscles in any mammal. What? Releasing up to 200 pulses a second? Dude, bats are insane. Bats are so cool. A bat's nervous system is so sensitive that it can detect differences in echo delay of just 1 or 2 millionths of a second, which translates to a physical distance of less than a millimeter. A bat thus gauges the distance to an insect with far more precision than humans can. Okay, so here's what's wild. Us as humans, we are ultimately more evolved as monads. But that's like a mental evolution. In many ways, when it comes to interacting with the holos, some animals have a better way of perceiving and experiencing the holos that's like more efficient than we do. We're kind of dumb, like monkeys, a little bit, like in our design, just like our physical design as avatars. We're not very elegant creatures. We really aren't. Laura LaFleur says there are blind people who use echolocation by making clicking noise with their tongue. Yeah, no, it's so true. Let's see. I feel like I know. Oh, there's like one kid. Human echolocation. Yeah, this kid. Let's watch this for like just a minute. This kid is like blind, and he can totally use like echolocation better than it, like almost just like a fucking bat.
Both eyes were removed when he was 3, leaving him with no vision at all.
Ah, sorry. I fucked it up, sorry.
Ben Underwood is blind. Both eyes were removed when he was 3, leaving him with no vision at all. So how on earth does Ben do this? And this?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And even this?
I don't think I've ever come across somebody like Ben. He was quite unique.
Ben lost his eyes to cancer, but unbelievably, he's taught himself to see with sound.
If he chooses to go out there and ride that bicycle, let him ride the bicycle.
It's got to be very smart. Somewhere in there, it's a little genius going on.
I don't consider myself blind. Ain't nothing wrong with me.
Ben has no guide dog and never uses a white cane.
Dude, this shit is so fucking cool. It really is. It just proves like if you're lacking in one like sensory experience with your avatar, you can just capitalize like on other sensory experiences through your avatar. And I think this is a really interesting point to make, that like there's so many different ways to experience the holos. It's completely 100% subjective, which completely highlights the importance of why objective reasoning is needed and why ontological mathematics, using that and leaning to that to explain what reality is so fucking important, because there's so many different ways to experience the holos. You can't base it off sensory experience, no matter how real it seems. It's just feelings.
He's not even using his hands. Instead, he sees with sound. He makes a sharp click which bounces back off nearby objects. Amazingly, Ben's ears pick up the echoes and he can precisely locate where things are. Ben is the only person in the world who sees using nothing but echolocation.
Well, I've been able to tell where walls are and where things on the ground are. If I click down, then I can hear them easier. But if I'm walking, I'm just clicking over it, it's not gonna get it. And I can tell where desks are in the classroom and stuff like that. I can hear the wall over there, the couch over there. I can hear the wall behind me. I can hear the wall over there and the TV and the computer. Yep.
Ben, I need a towel for drying because I don't have all my kitchen towels in here. All right, Mom, I'm going to go get it.
Ben's echolocation is so good that at home his mum, Aquanetta, Uncle Kerry, and brother Isaiah make no allowances for his blindness at all.
I love that. I love that. I don't give a shit that you're blind. Go get me some clean towels, bitch.
I just know he was my brother.
Did he make it? He's determined to do what he's gonna do. And he refuses for somebody to label him as blind. You see this kid that has a whole different way of thinking. It's magic and it's real.
It's not magic. It's.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone quite as remarkable
amazing,
as Ben.
but it's not
Nor have I
magic.
seen anyone quite as remarkable as Ben's mom. And I think that's a lot of the secret to Ben's amazing talents.
He knows that there's nothing impossible for him. And it's not.
Amazing. See, I love that. And what I'm trying to get into, though, is, like, how differently, like, animals, like, how differently, like, people and animals can, like, perceive the world. But just because things perceive the holos, like, super fucking differently doesn't mean that they're less valuable or less important than other monads. Some bats can detect small moths from about 6 to 9 yards away, but they can do so in darkness, so that total vision doesn't simply work. Blah, blah, blah. So I love this. Every animal is enclosed within its own sensory bubble, perceiving but a tiny sliver of an immense world. There's so much to what's going on in the holos that us in our human bodies right now, even as like higher evolved like monads, like just because we're in these bodies, we're very limited to what we're perceiving with our eyeballs, with our ears, with our fingers, with our skin, with our mouths, with our taste buds. Like every fucking sense, all 5 fucking senses we have are so limited. It's not even funny. Like there's such a vast world out there. So you really can't base what reality is on what our senses are telling us. Just because things feel physical doesn't mean they are. Things are not physical at all. They feel physical because we're getting a sensation of physical, but feeling something physical is also something that's been programmed into us from the get-go. We only refer to it as physical because we don't know what else to call our hand running into our desk. That's physical. Every animal is enclosed within its own sensory bubble. Every animal has its own reality tunnel. Just like we have our own reality tunnel. Everybody has their own way of perceiving reality, and we can only see through that way. And sometimes we can conceive outside of that and bypass that and change that, but ultimately everybody sees through their own reality tunnel, even animals. Every animal is enclosed within its own sensory bubble, perceiving but a tiny sliver of an immense world. There is a wonderful world for this sensory bubble, Umwelt. It was defined and popularized by the Baltic German zoologist Jacob von name I can't pronounce in 1909. Umwelt comes from the German word for environment, but they didn't use this to refer to an animal's surroundings. Instead, Umwelt is specifically the part of those surroundings that an animal can sense and experience. Does that make sense? So it's not like specifically referring to like what's around them. It's not environment as in what's immediately surrounding them that we can observe ourselves. It's what their environment is, as in their reality tunnel, as in what they're like mentally perceiving. It's perceptual world. It's perception. It's like it says right here, a tick questing for mammalian blood cares about body heat, the touch of hair, and the odor of what is this word? Butyric acid? I don't know, butyric acid, and emanates from the skin. It doesn't care about other stimuli and probably doesn't know that they exist. Honestly, yeah, that makes sense. So like a tick is searching for hot blood, body heat, and the feeling of hair. But it's probably not very aware of much else. It doesn't give a shit that it's hot and sunny. It doesn't give a shit that it's cold and wet. It just doesn't give a shit. It's got very limited functioning. It's got very limited capability of perceiving this world. It still has a unique perspective of the world. It still has an environment, or this Umwelt. I think that's like a good way to. Is that a good way to pronounce it? Like Umwelt. But it's very limited, and that's what I mean. Like, we're higher evolved, as in we can actually conceptualize what a tick is experiencing, but a tick can't conceptualize what a human is experiencing. Do you see that? It can't possibly. Do you realize like how big like a tick's brain is? It's fucking minuscule. So it doesn't care about other stimuli, and probably doesn't know they exist. We say probably because honestly, as much as we can conceptualize what other animals and things are experiencing, we don't exactly know. Just like you can conceptualize what I'm experiencing, but you'll never really know. So every Umwelt is limited. It is, yeah. It is. It's limited. It just doesn't feel that way. Each one feels all encompassing to those who experience it. So, like, a bird's umwelt is only that of which it can conceptualize. It can conceptualize of eating seed and looking for seeds and nuts. It can conceptualize it can experience longing to find worms and eat worms and bugs, but it can't conceptualize beyond that. Perhaps just a little. So, our umwelt is all that we know, and so we easily mistake it for all there is to know. Oh! We easily mistake it for all there is to know. Do you see that? We say the same thing in Hyperianism. We have our reality tunnel, and we think that's all there is to know. But that's subjective. What's objective is something that is known through mathematics. It's known through reasoning. I love this. What applies to us as humans, monads in human bodies, also applies to animals. They just don't have a higher conceptualization or an awareness of it. Humans, however, possess the unique capacity to appreciate umwelten of other species. Yes! And through centuries of effort, we have learned much about those sensory worlds. But in the time it took us to accumulate that knowledge, we have radically remolded those worlds. Much of the devastation that we have wrought is by now familiar. We have changed the climate and acidified the ocean. Yeah, acidified the oceans. Yes. Yeah, okay. So by the time we as a human race have become aware of how differently animals perceive the world and what they rely on to function as they are in their animal program, for some animals, by the time we realize that, we've realized almost too late that we're affecting them negatively. And I think this is what this is going into. This article is describing the very specific parameters in which a bat perceives the world. We can conceive of how that bat perceives the world by attaching little rice grain sized instruments to it and figuring out what it does. But what's terrible is that by the time we've realized how a bat has perceived the world, we've already been established as a human race enough to affect a bat's well-being and way of life negatively. And I think what this article is going to start driving at is that human development of like buildings, cities, towns, things like that have affected bats negatively. And I know this for a fact because I've seen a couple of bats like next to the road, like dead on the road. But because bats are so sensitive and reliant on this echo communication, a lot of the building construction that we've done as a human race creates a flat surface. And the thing is what's weird is like there's really not any flat surfaces naturally made, like as in like created by nature, like flat, perfectly flat surfaces. Those are very man-made things like buildings and such. So when bats communicate off those buildings and it snaps back at them, it's at such an intensity that it literally damages them, it harms them, and they die. Like I see bats dead like alongside like busy roads and stuff. It's because like they fly near walls and stuff and get trapped in areas between like car sounds and walls. And I know it sounds weird, but it really does happen. Like it's too much for them and they die. Oh, this is sad. Okay, so every year on September 11th, the sky above New York City is pierced by 2 columns of intense blue light. This annual art installation, known as the Tribute in Light, commemorates the terrorist attacks of 2001, with the ascending beams standing in for the fallen Twin Towers. Each is produced by 44 xenon bulbs with 7,000 watt intensities. Their light can be seen from 60 miles away. From closer up, onlookers often notice small flecks dancing amid the beams like gentle flurries of snow. Like there's these flecks that are dancing around the beams like snow. Those flecks are birds. They're birds. There are thousands of them. This annual ritual unfortunately occurs during the autumn migratory season when billions of small songbirds undertake long flights through North American skies, navigating under cover of darkness. They fly in such large numbers that when they show up on radar, they show up on radar. They fly in such large numbers. That's incredible. So by analyzing meteorological images, the blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so the beams reach so high. The beams to commemorate the Twin Towers reach so high at altitudes for like several miles that passing birds are drawn to them. Warblers and other small species congregate within the light at up to like 150 times their normal density levels. Oh my god, they circle slowly as if trapped in an incorporeal cage. Oh, that sucks. They call frequently and intensely. They occasionally crash into nearby buildings. That's awful. That's awful. And for what? Because we're like, I'm not saying anything against like the 9/11 incident. Obviously that was horrible, but when we're doing this and it's like seriously affecting other things that like can't perceive. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the whole important thing about this lesson of like how much animals perceive. These birds don't know that we're commemorating 9/11. They don't understand terrorist attacks. They don't understand all this stuff. They're just trying to do their migratory thing, and we're kind of fucking it up for them. Oh my god. In 1886, shortly after Thomas Edison commercialized the electric light bulb, about 1,000 birds died after colliding with illuminated towers in Decatur, Illinois. More than a century later, the environmental scientist Travis Longcore and his colleagues calculated that almost 7 million birds die each year in the United States and Canada after flying into communication towers. The lights of those towers are meant to warn aircraft pilots, but they also disrupt the orientation of nocturnal avian flyers, so birds that fly at night, which then veer into wires or each other. Many of these deaths could also be avoided by simply replacing steady lights with blinking ones. We too quickly forget that we don't perceive the world in the same way as other species, and consequently, we ignore the impacts that we shouldn't. Longcore tells me in his Los Angeles office, our eyes... Yeah, no, that makes sense. This is a good article. So, that has me thinking. It's like, well... Never mind how animals perceive the world while they're awake. I'm kind of curious as to how animals perceive the world when they're asleep. So this is our kind of last stop before we close up for the night, is going over this article about animals dreaming. But I have to fucking pee, and let's take a little break. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to pee. Does anybody have any new snacks? What's your favorite animal? What do you think about this? Share some comments. I'm going to pee and come back, and we'll wrap up our Friday night chat. Yeah, poor burbs. Poor burbs. So what do you guys think about this concept so far? Yeah, and there really is like a serious number of species of animals becoming obsolete because of human activity. I happen to live in a place where there are monarch butterflies very prominently, and monarch butterflies are now on an endangered species list, and they are pollinators, so it's very concerning. And we are literally losing monarch butterflies. I'm not even joking. To Mexican drug cartel planting avocados in areas where monarch butterflies thrive and mate and colonate and all that stuff. Straight up, if you want to get like balls deep into something environmental right now, like check out the whole like issue with like drug cartel avocados. Like, be careful the source of avocados you get, because you could be like a drug cartel in Mexico will launder drug money and stuff to by planting avocados and selling avocados among poppies and like opium and like cocaine and things like that. But literally the places that they are planting these avocados are places where monarch butterflies thrive and survive. So like monarch butterflies are in danger because of the Mexican drug cartel. Like they're like, avocados are questionable. Like, careful where you get your avocados. Yeah, so Laura LaFlora says, I have a huge soft spot for animals and think we can learn a lot from them. I also think some are verging on consciousness, more on consciousness than we realize. Yeah, so here's the thing. At some point, we ourselves were most likely in some sort of animal avatar. Because however your level of wherever you're at in your evolution is whatever avatar you can occupy. Even though bats have a very unique way of perceiving the world, they still can't conceptualize a lot of abstract things like humans can. Humans, us as monads, we're in these human bodies because we can, and we are evolved enough, and we can conceptualize outside of ourselves. We can perceive ourselves from an outside perspective. We can perceive and conceptualize what animals are experiencing. We can do all these things that don't go the other way. Animals can't do it the other way. Animals can learn, they can evolve, and they can gain awareness and consciousness and things like that, but it's not like this, like how we're thinking it happens. It's not the same way like a human child. Like dogs are incredibly intelligent. You can train them. They can catch on to things. They can conceptualize. They can do things within their parameter, like within their like what was that cool word we just like learned about? Oh, I closed the thing. It was like a German word. What was it? Somebody type it to me right now. What was the word? Umwelt. Dude. I kind of like this word. I love German words. Germans are like, here's this word for something super complicated. It's like, alright, that's amazing. Like, no other language does that. Umwelt. 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 See, that's where I was kind of like trying to like pronounce it as like Umwelt. In etiology, the word as it is experienced by a particular organism. The world. Sorry. This is a reality tunnel. Like, animals have their own reality tunnel. So, do animals dream? I tend to think they do. Because an animal perceives the world very uniquely than we do. So it's very curious because, like, when we as humans, like, as monads in human bodies, when we perceive the world, it's through a lot of different sensory experiences, our senses and our emotions, and then we kind of, if we're not keeping our subconscious in check, our subconscious thoughts in check, we can experience the world very abstractly in ways that are irrational, such as like through sort like a religious reality tunnel, like we experience the world very religiously, or this, that, or the other. So, like, when we go to sleep and we dream at night, like, we have weird dreams, right? I don't know about you guys, but I have very weird dreams. I have dreams that are bizarre. Bizarre things happen. Sometimes very indescribable things happen. So, what does an animal experience when they dream? That's what I'm kind of curious about. So do animals dream? If you're a pet owner, it may seem obvious that your furry friends dream. Yeah, I've had that happen. You know, when your cat or your dog goes to sleep and they're taking a nap on the couch, and then suddenly they're kind of like whining a little bit. They're like, nah, and then they're kind of like running in their sleep. You know, some animals do that. This is an academic podcast that's really proving that animals' dream isn't so simple. So it's not so simple as we think. So there's this new book. Well, maybe we'll check this book out. Philosopher David M. Pina Guzman of San Francisco State University argues that the science shows that animals really do dream and that those dreams are evidence of consciousness. Interesting. There are a few things in life that are more personal and more mysterious than dreams. Some have gone so far as to say that dreams are an example of what makes humans differ from all other animals, that they're evidence of our unique consciousness that no other creatures possess. But not everyone agrees. David Guzman, I think it's deeply problematic that we tend to think about mind by beginning from the human case and then looking to see which animals fit into our framework of the human mind. And now that I have to agree. Mind is very interesting, and as humans, we have the ability to think about amazing things. But let us not forget our animal friends, who are also monads and will also eventually evolve one day enough to occupy human bodies. That might be in a couple billion years, but they'll get there. A philosopher at San Francisco State University and author of a new book, When Animals Dream, The Hidden World of Animal Consciousness, The human mind is only one of the many minds that nature has produced by the process of evolution. Okay. That sounds like more of a physical explanation for mind than I feel comfortable with, but let's just go along with this for now. And even if we are particularly attracted to it because it's the one that we have, there's nothing objective that suggests that it's the only one or even the highest one. I don't know. You really see that diversity. You really see that diversity at the level of dreams. Okay. This is a little problematic because as a Hyperion, we definitely as humans are higher evolved and higher aware, even if we succumb to our subconscious. That may seem more animalistic, but I mean, I get where he's going. So anyways, Paul Rand says, if you are a pet owner, it may seem obvious to you that your furry friend's dream. We've all seen our dogs yipping in their sleep or our cats meowing during a nap. But this is an academic podcast and actually proving that animals' dream isn't so simple. And this guy, David, is saying, because historically the way that we know that other people dream has been because we ask them. And they answer, oh, last night I had a really bizarre dream. Let me tell you about it. And so with animals, given the absence of that shared common linguistic schema, how do we get to the conclusion that, in fact, other animals also dream? And maybe dream in ways that might be similar to the way we dream. Paul says, the scientific community has been so agnostic on this that until 2020, almost no study of sleeping animals in the whole literature used the word dream. Interesting. David says, I told myself there's no way that there are literally thousands and thousands of publications on the sleep of so many different species that yet virtually none of them in the 20th century mention the word dream, dreams, or dreaming. So you don't find the verb, you don't find the noun, you don't find the gerund. Gerund? Paul says, amazing. So David says, as I began digging deeper and deeper into the science, I began to realize that this absence was actually quite systematic, to the point that it seemed like it almost might be symptomatic. It might be symptomatic of an attempt to avoid an issue. Yeah. In many ways, the book is me trying to situate myself at the heart of the absence and asking, why is it missing? And making the argument that absence needs to be filled. If this is a book, I kind of want to read it, and I almost want to do a review on it. So Paul says there are two arguments that Guzman makes. The first is scientific, that all these studies really do prove that animals dream. And the second comes from his work as a philosopher, that animals' dreams raise profound questions about our ethical relationship to these creatures. And that, I think, is the important takeaway here as a Hyperion, is raising questions about an ethical relationship between us and animals, because there's literally no sufficient reason to purposefully torture and make it difficult for animals to thrive and survive as they are meant to. Literally no sufficient reason at all. None. At all. At all. Unnecessarily. So David Guzman says, a lot of people think that dogs and cats and hamsters, I don't deal with rodents, sorry. They can definitely feel emotions for which they're a very clear evolutionary function, like fear. Okay, so like when an animal experiences fear. It helps, it's like it helps you escape from predators. But then there are other more complicated emotions that sometimes we're not sure if animals really have them. And I guess this book they're talking about sheds light on that. I kind of want to read this now. I'm a little curious. So Paul says, from the University of Chicago Podcast Network, this is Big Brains, a podcast about pioneering blah, 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 blah. Do animals dream? Well, it's a simple question with massive implications. To answer it, Guzman poured through thousands of animal sleeping studies from decades of research, and what he found surprised him. Although none of them used the word dream, he saw evidence of dream all over the place. I find that very peculiar. I find it very peculiar that as humans, we're studying sleeping patterns of animals quite regularly, but never, ever, ever is it really mentioned or talked about the concept of animals dreaming and like what the contents of animals dreaming would be. So, electrophysiological evidence just refers to what we've learned about the animal brain in the state of sleep by looking at brain activity. So we're talking primarily about EEG studies. So basically measuring the electrical activity of brains and creating correlations between different states to figure out what the activity signifies. If you compare what the brains of many animals are doing when they are asleep and when they are awake, so if you just hold them side by side and try to juxtapose them, you realize that there is a significant difference. However, in the middle of the sleep cycle, typically there is a moment when the electrical activity, the patterns of the neuronal activation that we see coming out of the animal brain begin to resemble those of the waking state. They don't just begin to resemble them. In fact, they match them. They match them one to the point where we can start making some pretty impressive inferences. That's interesting. So they can study the brain patterns of animals when they are awake, and they can compare them to when they are sleeping. And at some points they are different, but then there's a point where it lines up and it becomes completely like the same. It's like when humans go into REM sleep, like rapid eye movement sleep. So is it the same thing that humans experience? That's correct. We look at the brain that human sleepers are doing. We look at the brain of human sleepers. By now we have enough data to map out or match certain sleep experiences with waking ones. So there's been enough research in studying what the brain emits as you experience as you experience in the holos. And when you dream, they're able to tell what you're dreaming by matching up what your brain's doing to what your brain's doing when you're awake. Now, in Hyperion terms, like I get it, this kind of gets a little bit confusing because it's like we're not our brain. We are a monad. We're driving our brain. But even when we're asleep, we're still somewhat connected to our avatar. We're not completely disconnecting from our avatar when we go to sleep at night. We definitely go into our own dream space, our own mind space. We collapse into our own area, but we're still connected to our body. We only disconnect from our avatar at death completely. Let's see. For instance, a study of zebra finches from 2000 showed that the same electrical activity that happens when they sing their bird song, well, that's so cute, while awake on occasion will also happen when they sleep. That's so cute. I'm sorry, that's so cute. So they know that, like, when some zebra finches sleep, they're dreaming about singing That's so fucking cute. That's so fucking adorable. I want to scream. Like, that's so cute. Birds, like, dream about singing. Peep, 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 peep. Dreaming about singing. Peep, peep, peep. Eating seed. Singing songs. The same exact parts of the brain light up when in the same exact order. Pina Guzman argues that this means that we can safely infer that they're dreaming about singing. Interestingly, the researchers in this study all said that the only evidence of this was the only evidence of an algorithmic implementation. So literally, like, this is the only evidence that, like, birds dream like that. As a general rule, scientists never use a high-level psychological concept. Let's say, like, belief or memory or imagination to explain the behavior of non-human animals. If you can't explain non-human animals, like, there's only one kind of human. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's either humans or animals. Anyways, if you can explain the behavior just as well, only appealing to lower processes that have a deeper evolutionary history. The rule is called Morgan's Canon, and many scientists adhere to it. As Pina Guzman writes in the book, researchers believe that birds don't experience the song any more than my laptop experiences running Adobe Reader. Oh, no, that's a very unfair comparison. A bird's sentience. A bird is actually sentient. A laptop isn't. I think to compare, like, a bird to a laptop is completely fucking unjust and unfair. Of course, Guzman disagrees, and he points to the fact that zebra finches' throats moved exactly as though they were singing during these events. So could the electrical activity and the embodiment combined confirm that they're actually experiencing a dream? Other electrophysiological studies provide further evidence. For instance, we can also learn about animal dreams by looking at the way electrical activity cycles during sleep. I'm sorry, that really fucking bugged me. The comparison between, like, birds dreaming about singing to a laptop experiencing running a program. A bird and a laptop isn't, that's, like, a bird actually is sentient. A laptop isn't. Of course laptops don't experience running a program. The bird absolutely experiences. I hope that makes sense. Like, that really bugs me. One of the most important studies on this had to do with another kind of zebra, this time a zebrafish. Okay, so we're moving on from zebra birds, zebra finches, to zebrafish. The zebrafish study that I looked at is a publication that shows two things. On the one hand, it shows that fish, like zebrafish, they have the same biphasic sleep cycle that we find in mammals. At some point when they're asleep, it's almost as if there is a neuronal revolution that erupts in the brain, and you start seeing the brain lighting up like a Christmas tree and lighting up in patterns that are comparable to the way in which the brain lights up in you and I. That's remarkable. And so it really extends the possibility of dreaming to species as different from us as tiny as little fish. Ma 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 ba. So they keep like so the rest of this argument like kind of keeps like referring back to like this certain book. I kind of want to look up this book. What is this book? When Animals Dream. Okay, I want to try and get this book. Oh, here it is. Is this the whole thing? Or is it just like an intro? No, I think this might be the... I want to read this book. This is interesting. We should put a bookmark in this and like continue it later. But one thing's for sure is absolutely 100% animals are sentient and they do experience their own experiences. They do have their own qualia. They do have their own reality tunnel. And it really is in our best interest to be respectful of that and honor that and do the best we can to make sure that they have access to this holos as much as we do. We shouldn't limit their access and make them suffer unnecessarily just because we can. But let's put a bookmark in this and definitely come back to it later. So, no. No, just stop. Okay. So anyways, how's everybody doing? Let's wrap it up. It looks like, so I see 86% people want to review Corporate Casket Elon Musk for patrons only tomorrow. Yeah, let's do it. Because even if you miss it, you can watch the replay. And we'll do that. So for patrons only, and to become a patron, you just go to patreon.com/JanEricksonOfficial. You can become a patron, and you can get access to our Discord server, and that's where I will be posting our patrons only live. I will go live in the evening tomorrow. I will keep you up to date when that is, and if you miss it, you can just watch the replay. We're just going to do the reaction to Corporate Casket. We're going to learn about Elon Musk and why he's so crappy. Thank you so much, Philip. I'm glad you can make it too. Please, everybody, thank Philip for coming. Philip, thank you so much for being there as a moderator tonight. And thank you to Susan. Thank you so much. And Christina, thank you so much. Thank you to our moderators for making a really lovely, safe environment for us to hang out in and talk in and keeping us on track. And I'm so glad everybody else came tonight. Tonight was a really interesting medley of topics, and I hope you all like this new format of like Mindful Monad. I honestly love just going live and just like sort of talking about a medley of topics, like talking about like different things, just kind of like constantly doing updates and stuff. Yeah, sorry, Roberta, I see you. I'm sorry things are going so crappy lately. I'm really sorry for your loss. That's really sad, and I really feel for you, and just know you're not alone, and we're there for you. So hang in there. It's gonna get better, even when it doesn't seem like it is. Thank you, everybody, and thank you so much, Morg, for your tip. That really means a lot. That's a really awesome tip. And Philip, thank you so much for your tip. And Cynthia, thank you so much for your tip. Tips really help. Tips are awesome, and they're very appreciated, and that's just fucking fantastic. Excellent. Thank you so much. Like, words cannot express, like, when you'll tip. And I saw a bunch of people, like, got the new shirt design today. Yeah, if you want to go to mindfulmonad.com, we got this shirt design. It's the purple monad shirt. It's fucking awesome. It's very nice. I want it myself. I want to buy my own shirt. I need to buy my own shirt. Oh, I'm glad I helped, Roberta. Excellent. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for the lovely tips. Thank you so much for purchasing the new shirt. Thank you so much for listening to me tonight. Tomorrow, yes, we will do live. We will just watch Corporate Casket. Please look to Discord to see the update about that. Good night, everybody. Have a lovely weekend and good night. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Noria. Noria, thank you so much for your $10 tip. That's so nice. So nice of you. Very appreciated. Thank you, Noria. All right. Have a nice time, everybody. I appreciate you, and we'll see you. We'll see patrons tomorrow, but otherwise we'll see you on Monday. Let me get my waving arm here. All right, here we go. Bye, everybody. Mwah. Mwah. Mwah.